comrades, welcome back to Commander Brito-Ruskie-Ski, and today, comrades, we're going to be reacting to the Czechoslovak legions Odyssey through Russia, comrades, by the Great War. Now, comrades, this channel, they do a lot of videos about World War I, World War II, and just history shit, comrades, and well, this was recommended to me by a winner of the Memes competition. So yes, comrades, I'm very excited to react to this, comrades. I'm hoping it's very good. It's only 8 minutes, comrades, so it's not too long, and yes, well, let's begin. Real quick before we begin, leave a like, subscribe, and well, let's go.
We already told the first part of their tale, of their formation as technically part of the French Foreign Legion. But in the field,
okay, so yeah, the Czechoslovaks, I think they were fighting in the Russian Civil War, or on Russia's side in World War I, but Tsarist Russia was bullshit.
Eventually fighting for the Entente in the West, the East, and the South. However, that tale was by no means finished, and I'll continue it today, Czechoslovak Legions Part 2.
Let's go. Sorry, comrades, I put it 1.25. I don't like videos in normal speed. Okay, let's go. Ooh, special.
Welcome to a second Great War special episode about the Czechoslovak Legions.
Okay.
When we left off, Russia was just about to officially leave the war.
So yes, obviously, comrades, this was the Bolsheviks, Russian Civil War, so that's what we are
Although
here.
an armistice has been
I don't know much about it, I just know they existed.
Earlier, the Brest-Litovsk Treaty was signed in
Offer
March
treaty.
1918. Ukraine had signed a separate peace a month earlier. This
Ukraine.
the Russian Czechoslovak Legion in a pretty tough spot. See, in 1918, as we saw in Part 1, the 1st Czechoslovak Brigade and the Czechoslovak military forces would see heavy action on the Western and Italian fronts. Thomas Masaryk had by 1918...
Tomasz Masaryk. So, I see, comrades, they were trying to fight for Czechoslovak independence from Austria-Hungary, I presume?
An autonomous Czechoslovak corps of over 40,000 men in Russia, and those guys very much wanted to go west and help in the fight, even with Russia out of the war. And after the Battle of Zborov in 1917, they had a heck of a good international reputation, but they were kind of trapped. They couldn't go west or south without running into enemies. It was also now too dangerous for them to go north to Murmansk and Archangel, so the only thing left to do was cross all of Russia. Crossing
So wait, did they fight in the Russian Civil War?
Siberia and making their way to
I think they were fighting in the Russian Civil War.
All the way around the world to France.
So they... Comrades, why not just go like to... Oh no, you can't go through the through the Caucasus because of the Ottoman Empire. Yeah, they had nowhere to go.
Masaryk and the men had gotten Bolshevik Ukrainian permission to cross Ukraine in February 1918, but there was a new wrinkle. The German army launched an offensive on the Eastern Front.
Oh no.
The Russian Bolshevik government.
See, was this around the time of the Dead Men, I think? Like Attack of the Dead Men. I'm just piecing shit together, I don't know.
This led to the Battle of Bakhmut in mid-March.
Bakhmut.
The town was a major railway hub. The Germans reached it March 8th. The Legion was in danger of being surrounded. Captured legionnaires...
So, yeah, this was the Germans invading. I presume Austria-Hungary was there as well? Or was this... Did they surrender by this time?
Executed by the Central Powers as traitors to Austria-Hungary, so it was a tough situation. Over the following 5 days, though, the Legion defeated 2 German divisions in bloody battle.
Jesus, the Czechoslovaks, they weren't slowing down, comrades. They defeated a couple Germans.
Their armored trains through Bakhmut and on to Chelyabinsk. On their journey, the Legions encountered many German and Austrian former prisoners of war who were heading east to their own...
And I'm guessing they let them out?
This caused big tensions in general, but also because both sides needed the train tracks for their own use.
Oh.
It was slow. When the Legions left Ukraine and entered Soviet Russia, they had to negotiate with the Bolshevik authorities there.
So I presume that obviously they had a relation with the Tsarists, not the Bolsheviks. So obviously there was quite a lot of Bolsheviks trying to negotiate there. And the Bolsheviks are nice people, so I presume they allowed them.
Led to the Penza Agreement on March 25th,
Penza.
under which the Legions were to give up most of their weapons in exchange for unmolested passage to the East Coast.
Wow, that's dangerous.
Stalin who drafted the agreement.
Oh shit!
And as civilians, the legionnaires carry some weapons for self-defense. Still, tensions were running incredibly high, since neither side trusted the other. The Bolsheviks suspected the Legion would join the White Russians in the Civil War.
Oh,
the Legion leadership...
So they were fighting with the Russians for Czechoslovak independence in Russia. So I think I've gotten it. I think I've got
wary
it.
of the Czechoslovak communists, a part of the Bolsheviks in Russia, maybe trying to subvert the men. They also figured the Central Powers were pressuring the Bolsheviks to stall them as much as possible. There was a shortage of locomotives. The railways themselves were often in terrible shape, and the Legions had to negotiate with local Soviets committees again and again and again and again, and they all blew up in May. There was an incident in Chelyabinsk the 14th. The Legion was heading east, and former Hungarian POWs were heading west. A chunk of met.
Okay, so I'm guessing, so this was their journey back to their homeland. Because going around the whole world, that's quite a fucking long journey, comrades. I'm guessing the war ended by the time they got in there, right?
Or stone thrown by a Hungarian, either wounded or killed a legionnaire.
Even going down south, surely it took a couple
Legionnaires
months.
then stopped the Hungarian train and apparently killed the perpetrator. This
Oh,
causes the local
damn.
Soviet to arrest the legionnaires, which in turn causes the Legion, by now strung out the whole stretch of the Trans-Siberian Railway, to occupy Chelyabinsk and free those arrested who faced execution. So on May 21st, Leon Trotsky, after discussion with Lenin, gives the order to Russia to disarm or kill any member of the Czechoslovak Legion on sight. So the Legion was now at war with Soviet Russia.
They were at war with everyone. They had no allies.
Army, and fighting erupted at points all along the railway.
It must have been so fucking
The
scary.
legions lasted for the rest of the spring and summer. The legionnaires occupied numerous cities on the route eastward across Siberia, even as White Russians overthrew Bolshevik authority in local capitals like Omsk. By the end of June, the Whites controlled the railway from Lake Baikal to the Ural.
So did the whites allow the Czechs to cross?
Over the summer, Bolshevik power in Siberia was destroyed. The Bolsheviks had, however,
Who's this guy? Who's this guy at the top?
A week before the Legion arrived and occupied that town. Side note, the Bolsheviks may have thought a rescue attempt was imminent, but I have no information that the Legion even knew that the Tsar and his family
No
were there.
information!
Anyhow,
You're the
when
history
the Tsar was
guy.
captured August 5th, so was an imperial gold reserve. But by the beginning of the autumn, morale had dropped heavily among the legionnaires. The Red Army, growing ever stronger, had begun its counteroffensive, retaking Kazan in September. The legions had no reliable reinforcements and were not themselves growing in number. In any case, they were not even fighting the war they wished to fight. And when an independent Czechoslovakia was created October 28, they wanted to simply go home. A coup in Omsk installed.
So obviously they were caught up in a civil war. They were caught up in World War One. So so looking at the railroads, their goal was to get to the other side of Russia, comrades. But how were they gonna reach France through there?
A dictatorship under Alexander Kolchak in charge of White Russia. And over the next year,
I might just not be getting
the
it.
railway,
I think that might be it, comrades.
Partisan attacks. As 1919 wore on, though, Kolchak's armies retreated from the advancing Reds, and when Omsk fell in November, the White Army, thousands of refugees, began the Great Siberian Ice March eastward.
Ooh.
The legions then declared their neutrality, but when Kolchak was stranded on the railway and his bodyguard deserted, Allied representatives ordered the legion to get him to Vladivostok. Instead,
Vladivostok is a good town.
the Whites
Good city,
accused
I mean.
the legion of being traitors. In February 1920, Kolchak was executed by the Cheka, and the Legion signed an armistice with the Red Army, which allowed unmolested passage to Vladivostok to finally go home. The first transport ship.
So how did they? I want to see the ending. I want to see how they got
In
home.
all, 67,630 people were evacuated
Whoa!
from 36 ships.
That's
It took
huge.
Two main paths: the southern path, China, Hong Kong, Ceylon, Arabia, Egypt, and Trieste. Or the
Jesus.
journey around the world: Japan, the Pacific.
That must have taken so long.
And across the Atlantic to Europe.
Right?
After that, they became the core of the Czechoslovakian army, and those that made it home in time soon fought the Hungarians and the Poles, successfully defending the borders of their new nation.
That seems really. That's actually quite wholesome, comrades. So they came home and they still defended their country, comrades. You know what? I'm proud of them, even though half Polish comrades still appreciate it.
A lot of monuments were built to the Legion, though the majority of them were destroyed in the Nazi occupation, and the communists...
Okay, comrades, so that was actually a very interesting video, comrades. It took me a while to understand, but yes, obviously that was quite a long journey, comrades. And the fact that, but you know what, I'm happy they managed to make it there. And even after all of that journey, comrades, they still managed to protect their country from other nations attacking them. And honestly, that's... well done. You did a good job, comrades. You did a very good job, Czechoslovak legions. But anyway, comrades, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and make sure to let communism strike again.